get to talk to amazing poets, and it's so nice to see you joining us and saying hi, welcome. Matt's on his holidays. He's gone to Turkey. He's not really, I don't think you're allowed to go on holidays yet. He just asked me, could I do the presenting thing? And I was like, yes, I can. I quite like talking to people. So this is the bit where I talk at the beginning for a minute, just waiting for people to join. And Matt sometimes does a little poem here. And because, obviously, I've not been getting out that much, I thought I'd do a little poem as well while we wait. During lockdown, I got commissioned to write a poem for an art gallery called The Fire Within, who are doing really amazing work. And the kind of focus of the exhibition was digital stuff, you know, and technology. So, like, this is my poem about the exhibition. It helps if you've been to the exhibition. Will be open again after lockdown, because it references some of the sculpture. But you might like it anyway. So, I feel like I'm rabbiting on a little bit there, a bit of excitement. I'll do my poem and then I'll invite Hannah in. Okay, so this poem is called Welcome to Wonderland. It's named after my H&M sweater. Not getting a sponsorship from H&M yet. You know, might be H&M earrings these actually. Okay, this is Welcome to Wonderland. Welcome to Wonderland. It was raining apples and oranges last night. A spider diagram crept into my daughter's bedroom. She was almost asleep. The blue screen flickering, loading. It attached itself to her wide open mind, blown. A bit like that face sucker from Alien, and awake she dreamed. She was a superhuman brain box leaping from a grandma's brown couch to swim in a ball pool of amoebas and small square phones. Partay! This is living. She is dancing with her very first car, the Ford Fiesta, and her are bare bolt necking, fizzing at the terminals, the TV mast on Winter Hill like a benevolent grandad. Alan Turing is beaming. She is coding, computing, exploding. Apple is not the only fruit, I tell her. Slice the frontal lobe of the orange, gently blow the human fruit flies away. Look closely. Can you see the scalpel shape of the tree? Have you seen those aerial photos of mountain ranges and maps of rivers taken by drones? Z marks the spot. They show us we are all the same shapes, reflected in the same shapes, reflected in the wonder of the world. Welcome to Wonderland. It was raining apples and oranges last night. The matrix dropped from its web. My daughter killed it with some hairspray in the heel of her heart. I am horrified. She resurrects it, her new tech teddy, rewires it, reboots it and us with the wildness of AI and new hard-spun stories. New, I knew. Aye, the orange doesn't fall far from the tree. Thank you. If you just joined us, welcome to Nymphs and Fogs Instagram. I am hosting tonight and you're here, you are watching, and it's very exciting. Okay, so I'd like to welcome into your homes, into your phones, the wonder that is Hannah Hodgson. I saw Hannah performing on an open mic somewhere, I think, and then I saw her a lot on Twitter. I watched her films, videos, and I just thought, what an amazing young poet. Like, I just feel like she's got a real talent, and I'm really happy to welcome her to the screen. So let me just find her. She's near the top. And I'll find her and I'll invite her. There's Hannah. There's Hannah. I'm clicking on Hannah. Oh, I'm finding her now. This bit's the stressful bit. This is technology. I've done it before. It worked last time. There we go. Then I'm sending Hannah. She'll be touching the screen now, stressing. Oh, she's here. Oh, hi, Hannah.
Hiya.
Oh, I really like your headphones.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, they're cool. You look cool.
Investment pre-lockdown. They've proved, well, pre-first lockdown, so they've proved a very, very good investment.
Yeah, and I mean, and this is a bit girly chat, really. I don't know if this is unprofessional, but have you dyed your hair?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking good. I
Oh,
love
thank
it,
you.
actually. I really love it. You look ace. Okay, so welcome to our little chat. I feel like I went on a bit long, so if we go over an extra 5 minutes, I don't think that matters. Um, what have you been up to, Hannah? What do you want to tell us about?
Oh gosh, so I have been locked down for we're going on 250 days now. So yeah, other than to go to hospital, I haven't left the house. So I've got this whole other life that I've like sorted out. So in my mind, I'm pretending that I'm on some really posh, expensive Arvon scheme, but
Nice.
but I'm not. Never been on one, if you can't tell. So yeah, I'm writing lots, I'm reading lots, I'm just trying to keep my mind off the world.
The thing is, Hannah, I've been to Irvine. I won an Irvine on the writing thing, so I won it. And you have to cook for yourself. So even though it comes across as luxury, don't get me wrong, Irvine's nice. I liked it, and I like the tutors. Like I don't know if you're cooking for yourself at home or if you've got family members cooking for you, but I don't know, pros and cons.
Yeah, yeah. I am
Um,
going on the digital one in December. I'm so excited. I've got a grant, so very, very exciting time.
and what is the theme of the Irvine you're going on? What they're normally themed around something. For people who don't know, Irvine's like a writing course you can go on that's got great, great reputation.
I can't remember the theme, but it's Rachel Long and Caroline Bird. So, like, dream
Ooh.
team. I'm very excited.
Yeah, that's going to be amazing then with those
Mm.
tutors. I suppose one thing I wanted to ask you was before we hear a poem or anything, like in terms of like access in the digital world and the digital poetry world, how are you finding that?
Oh, my life has got so much easier since all of this has kicked off. It's kind of made people go digital and like it's from as simple as poetry events are now online and captioned because I'm also deaf. Things like it just makes it so much easier. Um, I can meet three people in a day on Zoom rather than one and have my week ruined. So it has completely transformed my life, and I really hope it sticks around. Um, yeah, I know that some of the free things probably aren't, um, what's the word, like profitable, but I hope that they're worked in to a larger perspective and can be run alongside in person.
Yeah, from my perspective, like as an organizer, there is definitely a way to fund those events, and
Mm.
I can't see arts organisation going back, just purely because so many more people can join in that. For example, couldn't for whatever reasons really. So I'm with you on that, Hannah.
Mm.
Like I think it's so important in terms of access, but for everyone, and just because it adds something, you get to meet people from across the world who you might not otherwise have met before. And Hannah, how do you feel about doing as a little poem?
That'd be really nice.
Cool.
So I've prepared a couple. How are we gonna? Yeah, okay.
Yes, what normally happens is like you do one, whatever you want, then we chat a bit more, and then if you think, oh, I want to do a poem, you tell me, and if you don't, and I think we've been going on, I go, come and do another one. This is like having my own personal poetry performance, and it's such a wonderful experience. I really enjoy this side of it. What an amazing poem! I mean, for me, it's so good to see that world of hospitals and illness through your eyes as a young woman. I think that there are so many people who experience illness and hospital and disability in various degrees, and that we don't hear about it through young guys. That's what I don't know. That's my initial response. So thank you for sharing that poem. I saw online that you've been doing a load of work with the Writers Squad. Where did that poem come from? Did it come from a workshop or?
Yeah, so with the writing squad, we have, so it's kind of an opt-in, opt-out system, so you can be as involved as you want to be. So I basically go along to everything because I adore it. Um, I also go to Dove Cottage Young Poets, which is run by Kim Moore, where it's every other Friday, and I get loads of drafts, maybe not things that become poems, but I get in the right headspace to write. And yeah, without those things, there's absolutely no way I would be writing the things that I write and getting into that kind of groove. And especially for reading widely, it's really interesting to see what poems other poets bring, and then you're like, oh, I really need to buy that book. That book's amazing. So yeah, I love workshops and things.
I think you can't underestimate reading for writing, and that sounds like a stupid thing to say, but because we've all come to poetry and spoken word from different routes,
Mm.
lots of people might engage through watching and hearing it, and that it's just refreshing really to hear you talk about kind of reading informing your work.
Mm.
Um, I mean, and I know the work's going well because did you win an award?
I won a Northern Writers Award this year, so which was just like totally out of the blue. Was not expecting it. It was one of these things that like I was really, really not expecting it. If I'd have had to pay to submit to, I wouldn't have done. Which yeah, that is testament to not having fees to enter things, because it's just such a huge barrier for so many people that are underrepresented, because it's expensive when it's like £7 a poem. It it If you're choosing between that and buying a book, you're going to buy a book. It's it's a lottery ticket, isn't it?
I remember going on a workshop with Kim Moore of quite a few years ago around getting published, and she said she talks about competitions as like a lottery ticket. Like if you've got the spare money and you
Yeah,
want to take a gamble, take it. But you're so right about it being as a barrier because it's hard enough to submit it as it is. You start reading your work going, it's rubbish. Why am I even bothering? So you've got that inner voice saying, don't do it. You don't need
yeah.
£7 or 15 quid or whatever it is to read a pamphlet for some competitions. And when
Mm.
you applied for the Northern Writing Awards, because I know they're just due to start again for the following year in another couple of days, they're going to be advertised. What did you send them? Did you send a collection or did you send a poem or?
So I sent them, oh gosh, it was a year ago. So I sent them basically the maximum I could,
Yeah.
um, and a proposal for a collection I wanted to write. So it was, I've actually written it now, so it's out, being considered, hopefully. And yeah, so it's 163 days. So that was how many days I spent in hospital. So it was a poem for every single day, and excerpts, genuine excerpts of my medical records, which were very weird things to get my hands on, because first off you have to pay
Didn't know
like
that.
50 quid to get your medical notes, which is a lot of money. And then you're reading through all this stuff and they're not expecting you ever to read it as a patient. So
Yeah.
there's stuff in it like Hannah won a little poetry competition, like really condescending, awful stuff that they don't expect you to read and go back to and go, that is not how I remember that conversation going down. Kind of this official voice. Uh,
Yeah. I think sometimes medical professionals think if you ever get read, it'll be years ahead, so it'll be like so many years that you don't even remember.
yeah,
And for you, that's not the case, is it? You're looking at it now.
no, it's a really weird thing. I went to a talk Lem Sisse was running about his care records, and I just thought, gosh, my experience was nowhere near as awful as that, but like I really gelled with what he was saying about how when someone has like is official over you, it makes you think, did this happen? Did it, what? Like, and it also, the official word isn't always the truth.
No. I think that's one of the beauty in terms of writing, that you get to redress this balance and that we
Yeah,
get to see it from your perspective. And actually, the poet's perspective, particularly in how you write, is far more compelling and interesting than anything in your medical notes. So I suppose there's an interesting kind of tension between the work you're writing and then the medical notes. Before I ask you for another poem, I just wanted to say, have you got a pamphlet out with Verve?
coming in March.
Ooh,
So,
that's not long.
no, it
March.
isn't. It's very exciting. Yeah, that
Tell
was another
us,
thing I
what's it
really.
called?
It's called Where I'd Watch Plastic Trees Not Grow. So that is taken from, in Manchester Children's Hospital. There are 4 hospitals in a row. And in the eye hospital, I think, there's a big plastic tree that they just, it's just an art installation. So every night, once I was well enough, we'd go and sit underneath it just to get off the ward. And it was, yeah, it was so, it was weird because we'd also had the nurses walking past to change shift. Um, and it was kind of an indoor safe escape. But like, I went back to the next hospital along, St Mary's, for some genetic tests about a year ago, and it was full of people. And it was the first time I'd seen it full of people, other than when I was looking out of my room down onto it. So yeah, it was. I wrote a poem about that, and I wanted that to be the title because it was such a random but also really important thing to do with my hospital stay.
It sounds like an oasis almost. Like when you're
Mm,
describing it to me, that's what I'm kind of imagining, an oasis. Our family had a lot of experience with hospitals growing up, so I spent a lot of time as a visitor in hospitals. So when you talk about that world, it is its own world, its own curious world with curious characters and routines and structure. So I feel like you're writing about something that's just so rich. Would you feel good doing another poem now?
absolutely.
You can't say no, can you? No, I just changed my mind, Louise. No poetry.
So this one is in the pamphlet actually, which works in. It's called Everybody Loves a Dying Girl because I have a life-limiting condition, which means that I use a hospice, and I have a life expectancy shorter than other people. So I've really, and this only happened when I was 16, so I really noticed this shift. I kind of went from this nerd that nobody would look at twice to this, like, everyone knew my name. The head teacher knew my name in like a 2,000 person school. Like, I just suddenly became somebody for all the wrong reasons. Um, I had this flashy blue scooter before I got my wheelchair, so I was really recognisable. Um, and I kind of fell out of the party invitations, and I didn't, that experience stopped for me as soon as I came out of hospital. So that's why I wrote this poem. Everybody loves a dying girl. Some girls avoid me in town, cross the road to avoid maudlin contagion, while others come over to chat, gather pieces of information they scrunch and throw onto the bonfire of prattle. At parties, I'm everybody's friend. I travel in their mouths, disgust even though I'm not there. Gossip swirls in drinks like mixers. I wish for them to hear the truth, what they say without their masks on, without their filters activated by my sitting feet away. I wish to reject my sainthood. Illness doesn't cure me of a personality, of doing things which are unforgivable.
Oh, Hannah, you are such an amazing poet. I'm so glad I invited you on. When Matt said, like, who are you thinking of? And I was thinking, oh, there's a few different people. And I thought, oh, no, I'd like to get Hannah on.
Thank
Oh,
you.
no, I really genuinely mean it. Like, I'm like, this is like the best poetry I've heard for ages. Like, I really like the use of the word prattle in that and the idea of being passed around from mouth to mouth. Some really great images. Hannah,
Oh, you're
what
making
do
me
you think,
blush.
what does poetry me crying. I don't even know why. I'm like, I mean, it's not like your story almost. It's like it's the beauty of the poetry. I bet people at home are like, oh yeah, so art is amazing. Okay, I wanted to say, Hannah, what does poetry do for you? What purpose does it have for you? Why do you write?
I well, I definitely started writing instead of having therapy, which wasn't a solid choice because I needed therapy as well. But now poetry offers this whole, like, I don't write it for this reason, but I send it out to places for this reason. Like, sometimes I think it's quite easy because I've been not disabled in my life. It's very easy to your whole life and not notice there being a lack of dipped curbs, no automatic doors, no disabled toilets. And actually, I think it's really important. And I think poetry is really unique in that you can put an exact image, an exact time into someone's mind exactly as how you experienced it. And that is really unique. It kind of distills what you want to say in like a couple of hundred words, which is just, yeah, I don't think you can do that with prose. And poetry has been, it's been a savior of my mental health. Like, I have in the first lockdown I had quite a bad experience with depression, but somehow, like, I was under the crisis team and everything, but somehow I kept on writing, even though it didn't really make much sense, but it was kind of, I read it now and I'm like, okay. But now, like, looking back on that, it's always been a method of survival for me, like a way of putting things or people's issues with me on the page and then hopefully publishing it and it not being mine anymore. I'm really a believer in it, and I think it should be a thing, like, in hospitals where people are dealing with these huge life-changing things. Um, but there's no investment in that, especially in adult services.
Yeah.
You're just kind of left, you get 2 hours of free TV a day, that's it. Whereas in kids, when I was in kids, oh my goodness, it's so good, but there's so much, like, free television 24/7, all the toys in the world, all the, like, Game Boys in the world. So
Mm.
it's, yeah, there are younger people in the older care services, and older people need stimulation too. It will
Yeah,
keep them
yeah.
more well. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
good.
what a massive huge change then in terms of being a young person. Well, yeah, like you said, not just a young person, a person. You
Mm.
don't devalue as you get older, or you shouldn't do. Have you had the opportunity to lead any workshops in hospital or in that setting, or
So I was just about to, and then COVID hit. So
yeah,
I'm high risk, so I can't. But it is something I would absolutely love to do. Like, that is like top five dreams for me. Like, that would be amazing. Just to kind of go into one of those spaces and access those people that were 2 years older than me, and missed the cut off for children's services and were left on a very boring ward for 6 months on their own without the parents. um yeah, that would be amazing
I could,
one
I,
day.
I run loads of workshops all over the place, and I've run a few in hospitals in different settings. But I can just tell now you'd be really good at that. Do you have like a mentor? I know obviously you're working with Kim and you're working with the writers squad. So actually, there's Stephen over there. It's like Steve Dearden and then
Yeah,
Kim Moy. So you've got two good eggs there on either side. Have you been getting much support in terms of your career development as an artist?
so the squad has been really instrumental. They have, they've guided me in the right way. And also, well, I've kind of been relying on favors, and I feel quite guilty about that. But like Kim is incredible. Like I just go, Kim, what should I do? And she's like, right, let's sit down and do a battle plan. She is amazing. Steve is fab. If you ever just want to chat through an idea, think about an arts council application, yeah. And the work he does with the writing squad is just like, he's an amazing guy. Like he's the type of guy that like would hate to be shouted out. So I'm gonna do it because
They'd be like, oh
because
my
he deserves
God.
it.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear. Because oh, where was I going with that question? I was just thinking about how to share your love in the world, you know, in like a digital way, you know, while it's so fresh, while people
Mm,
want that, you know. I'm just thinking, yeah, I want to see you do this because it'll be just important for people. Um, would you like to do another poem?
absolutely. So her first collection is The Art of Falling, and this poem is titled There is an Art to Falling. Because I faint a lot. I have a fainting condition, so I pretty much just stand up and faint, which is why I'm always sat down. Um, so the art of there is an art to falling. Carpet is preferable. A cushioned landing on the cheap. Avoid the wrists. Learn not to save yourself. Fall as you would belly flop into a pool. Fall as you would into raked leaves in the garden. Release. Trust the body knows what it's doing. Try landing on your knees, or better, sit down as I did in a supermarket. Drink water if you can. Eat something if you can. Reignite the furnace of your body. Blow on its embers. Assess every room for its safety, its sharp corners. Your body is soon to become a separate entity. Ask somebody to raise your legs, feet together, reverse praying. Be grateful for the days a faint doesn't drag you with its weighted cloak to visit a night sky without stars.
Oh, I really like the idea of how with poetry we get to put other people's sort of like vision on. So
Mm.
like in that poem I really got a sense of the idea of walking into a room and seeing it through someone else's eyes, and I think that's what the best art does. I know what had popped into my brain when you were talking about favours. I think that like favours and networks are everything in the arts. And that might sound a bit kind of like unpleasant, but it's the opposite of that. It's all about connection and people. And
Mm.
as artists and writers, we meet each other, and your minds kind of connect, and you're like, yeah, I like how you think, and I want to help you think, and I want to help you move forwards. And like in my career as a poet, that's happened loads, like other people
Mm.
helping me and me helping them. And actually, because that's what you want our artistic world to be. And also, when you look at all the old famous writers, usually they travelled about in gangs. Do you know what I mean? So that is part of the nature of it. I just want to ask you a couple more questions, and then I don't know if you've got another poem and knocking about, or did you just prepare the three?
I can quickly bring up another one.
I want one. So I know I said three, but I don't care. I want another one in a minute.
Cool.
Um, I just wanted to say, you did the BBC contains strong language thing. Tell me a bit about that, because that's an opportunity for you to get out there a bit more, isn't it?
Yeah, that was amazing. So it came to Cumbria this year, and because of COVID, it was all online. But again, that was amazing because I was in it loads. It was just such a wonderful thing to come to Cumbria, and I think Cumbria sometimes is mistaken for just being a field. Like I do live in a field, but there are towns in between the fields and really quite vibrant poetry scenes. Um, so yeah, that was just such an amazing weekend. Like to have the resources of the BBC and the kind of the understanding that all of this talent was from or connected to Cumbria.
Yeah.
It was just like a really empowering thing to be a part of.
Big up Cumbria. Yeah, we do want to hear. I mean, I know we've got Verbalise up there with Anne Grant, and that's the main one I think of, if I'm honest, like going up to the brewery.
Yeah,
And I know that other people have spoken to me about different bits and bobs going on here, there, and everywhere. And there's some anyway. So yeah, Cumbria. Like I
yeah.
know the guy who runs the festival in. I'm gonna say Barrow, but I don't know if it is Barrow now. But anyway, it's cool. It's cool. I'm not here to advertise.
No, I'm not. Yeah, there's loads. There's loads. There's like Lancaster Lit Fest, Kendal Poetry Festival, just millions of things that. And I think also it's been quite self-resourced. Like a lot of people, like Anne Grant, have set up these nights because there is a genuine need.
Yeah.
And like the first time I read a poem was at Verbalise, so I owe them a lot. And I owe Anne a lot actually. I've noticed her before. Hi Anne. Thank you. Because it kind of allowed me this space to test the waters and then alter my work, and it's a really interesting and supportive space.
I think spoken word and poetry as a whole is amazing for that, for giving space for people to move about and to develop. And you're definitely coming on, so I mean I think it's dead good. Let's finish with a poem then.
Cool. So this one is I always fall in love inside hospitals. It was the intensive care nurse who believed I was in pain, the morphine when it arrived in my veins, the fresh sheets every 12 hours, the drain when it fell out, and the doctors agreed it didn't need to be put back in. The first time I sat without stitches popping, the pyjamas they cut off when I couldn't move, the relief of air as they turned me, the arterial line as my blood pressure disappeared, the blood bank which saved me, the masks covering the doctors' mouths, meaning they could have been saying anything, the nurse my age who cried in my room, the functions of the heart other than love.
Okay, I'm giving you the big heart now. I've really enjoyed your set, and I've just enjoyed talking to you, Hannah. You're really a pleasure to speak to about poetry and writing, and I love hearing about your life and your experience. It's so important. Okay, so I'm going to say bye now, Hannah, and bye to everyone else. Thanks for everyone for watching. It'll be on next week again with Matt again and a different amazing guest. I'll see you soon, Hannah.
Thank you.
On digitally, hopefully I'll get to see more of your work, and I'm going to come to your pamphlet launch. Yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be online, so I'll be able to come then. Okay.
Yeah, fab.
Bye. I'm going to say bye and turn it off now. It might fail. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.